all of us love stories. Yes? And if the teacher asks you, write about my favorite book or my favorite story. Now, to write about your favorite book, to write about your favorite story, you need to have read storybooks. Now, you might, when you think back, when you look back, your mommy had been reading stories for you, so you got interested in the book. Or your nursery teacher might read story for you. Or in the junior school, you took part in story narrating, storytelling competitions. Now, all this will go a long way to help you to think of taking some book and reading. When you read a story all by yourself, then you get a lot of ideas in your head. You get the moral of the story. You get interesting tips like how that story began, how it ended, how a little girl managed to do a certain puzzle and things like that. The story always gives you a lot of imagination in your mind. At the end of the story, you will learn the value, some important lesson in life. Then sometimes you want to read similar stories. If you are an animal lover, you might love to read animal stories. But above all, you must think, sometimes you will be able to narrate why you wanted to read. Maybe somebody in the family, maybe your daddy reads a lot of storybooks. Maybe your neighbor reads all the time some storybook. Maybe mommy took you to the library and you got fascinated looking at that and you started borrowing book. First you looked at the picture, then you got interested in the story. Sometimes it may be a teacher. It was a rainy day or a holiday or something happened that only few children comes to school, and maybe there was a teacher who takes up a story and reads it to you with such enthusiasm that you said, why not I read like that? Or maybe because the reading of some story in the school for competition, you got interested. So there are different ways why you get interested in reading stories, and then you go to collect storybooks. Sometimes you like to keep storybook for yourself, so you buy book and you keep, and then you have a collection. Maybe in the family there is someone who loves to keep library, maintain a library. So you also got the habit into you buying your favorite book and storing, because you want to read the story another time. So there are different ways why children pick up, why they get interested in different types of stories, and stories are always fascinating. Sometimes the teacher will read a gist of the story and leave it. You go and read the rest. That makes you very curious. I must get that storybook. I must find the end of the story. What happened in the end? What happened in the middle? What did those two naughty children do? How did they solve that problem? So like that, books are always fascinating. And here your teacher is asking, write about my favorite book. And that's what we are going to do. My favorite means the best book. Sometimes you will say my favorite teacher, my favorite subject. It's like that. My favorite friend. So you just love. So my favorite book is the title for today's writing composition. My favorite book. Now, I love reading storybooks. I love and enjoy I love and enjoy reading. I love and enjoy reading storybooks. I love and enjoy reading storybooks. I started reading storybooks because of my favorite teacher or because of my English teacher Kala. Okay? So somebody is there inculcated in you the love for reading. So I love and enjoy reading storybooks. Now who gave me that? Okay. I started reading storybooks in the fourth standard. In the fourth standard. So when you are in fourth standard, okay. I love and enjoy storybooks, reading storybooks. I started reading storybooks in the fourth standard. My teacher Kala, you can say my class teacher, Miss Kala. What did she do? My class teacher, Miss Kala, what did she do? My class teacher, Miss Kala, helped me to get interested. In books. So my class teacher, Miss Kala, helped me to get interested in book. Since then, I had been reading a lot. Then what else? I enjoy reading. I love to read the story over again. I love to read story over and over. I love to read stories over and over. Sometimes you want to get detail, so you go on reading certain stories over and over. Okay. Then, so while you collect lot of book, now you can say I have a small collection or I have a small library. I have a small library of my own. Okay, remember we are writing about the favorite book. So, why you love, enjoy reading book, and how did you start reading? When did you? Maybe you are in the fourth. Now who was your teacher who helped you, inculcated the interest for reading? Your class teacher, Miss Kala. Then, since then what did you do? You never stop reading. Very good. So I love to read stories over and over. What for? To get details. Some details you want to know. So you are very curious, you go back to the story, read it again. So finally now you started collecting books. So I have a small library of my own. Now we are talking about my favorite book. My favorite stories are from Panchatantra. They are very interesting stories. This is supposed to be very interesting. Now, I have a small library of my own. My favorite stories are from Panchatantra. Why do you like Panchatantra? Because there are many interesting stories. So, my favorite stories are from Panchatantra. I have collected several books of this author. I lent out, I also give, I share my books. What do? I share my books with my friends. So I give them also. Now, when you give to your friends your books, what do? We discuss the story, Panchatantra stories with friends. So, my friends and I discuss the favorite story together. What happens when you discuss all this? Then you get new insight into the stories. Finally, what you become? Become great readers. My love for reading stories will never stop. Sometimes some children read stories in the class. They love the story so much, the teacher will take class, they're busy reading. Why? Because they just can't keep the book down. They want to know what's happening, anxious to know the end of the story. So that is the love. Once you inculcate the love for reading, then you will never stop. Then you grow to be a great reader, and you can also end up being a great writer. So what is the teacher helping you today? She's asking you, do you like to read? What is your favorite book? Enid Brighton, what is it? What is the story you like to read? What kind of, is it animal story? Or you like to read about the nature? Or you like to read some tricky stories? Or you like to read somebody could get lost, how they find, depends what kind. So here my favorite book. What's my favorite book? Here my favorite book is Panchatantra. They are very interesting stories for children, and children love Panchatantra so much. So my favorite book is Panchatantra. I love and enjoy reading story books. When did I get that interest, love for reading, the taste for reading? I started reading my story books in the 4th standard, and I had a teacher. Who is the teacher? Miss Kala. My class teacher, Miss Kala, helped me to get interested in books. Since then, I had been reading a lot, but then what happened? I love to read stories over and over. When I liked the story, I started reading over. Then, because of my love for books, because of the love that Miss Kala gave me, I have a small library of my own. Now, what is my favorite story? Panchatantra. My favorite stories are from Panchatantra. I have collected several books of this author. I'll go looking, ask mommy, buy me some more different stories. Panchatantra, I like to read all the stories. I share my books with my friends. Why? I share it because my friends and I discuss what's going on. Why did they do it? They could have done this way. We discuss the favorite story together. Then my love for reading story books will never end. I will always be a reader. And I hope to be a writer later. Yes, when you read, you get a lot of imagination, you get a lot of ideas, you become a very clever, intelligent child. It's a very good habit of reading, and having favorite book is another very, very important thing for little girls and boys to grow up to be good writers.